He offered her a marriage of convenience, a business deal, nothing more.
No love. No strings. Just a contract to help him keep his company and silence the pressure from his family.
She said yes, thinking it was a way out of her own mess. But somewhere between fake smiles and pretend kisses, something real began to bloom.
What he never expected was that she would give him something he believed he had lost forever: hope, family, and the courage to love again. This isn't just a love story. It's a story of healing, second chances, and finding home in the most unexpected person. Before we start the story, leave a comment to let us know which city you're watching from. Like and subscribe to support our community. Your support means a lot to us.
Now, enjoy the story as we continue.
It was a rainy Wednesday afternoon when Ethan Carter walked into Lily Grace's tiny bookstore with an offer that would change both their lives. He didn't come in for a book. He came with a contract. Ethan was tall, confident, and always in control. A billionaire CEO with a cold stare and a guarded heart. Lily was the complete opposite. Warm, kind, and barely keeping her bookstore afloat. "Marry me," he said simply. Lily blinked. "Excuse me."
"A marriage of convenience.
6 months. We'll sign a prenup. You get enough money to pay off your debts and rebuild your store.
I get peace for my family and the board of my company."
She stared at him like he'd lost his mind. "Is this a joke?" "No." He slid the contract onto her counter.
Lily laughed, nervous and confused.
"You don't even know me."
"I don't need to. I've done my homework. You're kind, respectable, and in need.
I'm offering you a lifeline." The store was quiet except for the rain tapping the windows. She picked up the contract.
"Read the first page."
"Why me?" she finally asked. "Because I trust you not to fall in love with me." His words cut like a blade.
Lily almost said no.
But then she remembered her overdue bills, her sick father, and the foreclosure notice on her door.
6 months?
She asked.
He nodded.
She reached for a pen with trembling fingers.
"Fine. But this is just business."
He didn't smile. He simply said, "Deal." They shook hands. And just like that, 2 strangers signed up to play husband and wife. Neither of them had any idea how real it would all start to feel.
Ethan's lawyer had everything prepared.
A thick binder of legal papers arrived at Lily's doorstep the next morning. Each page spelled out the terms of their marriage. No intimacy. No expectations. No emotional entanglements. Just appearances. Lily signed it all, her hands shaking. She didn't know why, but she felt like she was signing away more than just her name. Ethan was all business. Cold. Distant. He arranged everything. Where they'd live, what events they'd attend, even how often they'd be seen in public. "We need to look convincing," he told her, fitting a diamond ring on her finger. "Our story has to be airtight." "But we're lying," Lily whispered. "To survive," he said. "Sometimes survival looks like pretending." She hated how right that sounded.
The engagement was announced the next day.
His name trended. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. The world believed their love story.
Only it wasn't love.
Not yet. The penthouse was nothing like Lily had ever seen before. Polished floors, glass walls, and a view that stretched for miles.
"This is home now," Ethan said, barely looking at her as he handed her a keycard.
Lily stepped in slowly, her fingers brushing against the velvet of the couch, the marble countertop, the fresh orchids in a vase. Everything screamed luxury and emptiness. He showed her to the guest room. "You'll stay here. There are clothes in the closet, custom sizes." She nodded, a little overwhelmed. "Thank you." They were under the same roof now, yet miles apart. Over dinner, they sat in silence until Lily finally broke it. "Why are you really doing this, Ethan?" He hesitated. "Because if I don't marry, my board will remove me as CEO. They think I'm unstable, too focused on work, too alone."
"And what about your family?" she asked.
His jaw tightened. "They want a perfect son. A settled one. A man in control." Lily looked down at her plate. "And I'm just the perfect puppet." His eyes softened for a second. "No. You're the only person I could trust not to betray me." She didn't know what to say to that. That night,
She lay awake in the guest bed, listening to the quiet hum of the city. What had she gotten herself into? The first public appearance came quickly. Ethan's charity gala. They stepped out of the black car hand in hand, Lily in a sleek navy dress he had picked, her curls pinned back. Cameras flashed. He leaned in. "Smile like you mean it." She did. Inside, people whispered and stared. "That's Ethan Carter's fiancée," someone said. Lily sipped champagne and smiled at strangers. She played her role. Then came the moment that caught her off guard. Ethan laughed. Genuinely. It was a low, warm sound. She turned, surprised. "You've never laughed like that," she said. He looked at her. "You've never made a joke before." "I wasn't joking." They both smiled. Real smiles. Later that night, when they got home, Ethan helped her out of her heels. "You didn't have to do that," she said. "I wanted to." Lily watched him for a second. The way his guard dropped for just a moment. Maybe this wasn't going to be as cold as she thought. Maybe. Ethan came home late. Lily was curled on the couch with a book, wearing one of the soft sweaters he had bought her. "You missed dinner," she said softly. He loosened his tie. "I had a meeting." "With the board." He nodded, then dropped into the chair across from her. For once, he looked tired. "Everything okay?" she asked. "No," his voice was flat. "They think I'm losing focus. That this engagement is just a show." She bit her lip. "Isn't it?" He looked at her then. Really looked. "It's starting to feel like more." Silence filled the room. "I don't know what's happening," he said, almost to himself. "But when I walk into this place and see you, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time." Lily's heart beat faster. "Comfort?" she asked. He nodded. "And maybe hope." She got up and walked toward him, sat on the armrest of his chair. "We don't have to figure it all out," she whispered. "Let's just be honest." He reached up, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Okay." That night, they didn't kiss. But something shifted. The wall between them started to crack. Lily found the box in Ethan's study. Old photographs. Letters. One was addressed to a name she didn't recognize. Anna. She didn't open it. But it stayed on her mind. Later that evening, as they shared takeout on the couch, she finally asked, "Who's Anna?" Ethan froze. "She was my fiancée," he said quietly. "Before the company. Before everything." Lily waited. "She died. Car crash. 3 years ago." "I'm sorry." "She was the last person I ever imagined a future with. Since then, I haven't let anyone close. And now," he looked at her, eyes raw. "Now I'm scared. Because it started as pretend. But I don't think I'm pretending anymore." Tears welled in Lily's eyes. "Me neither." They didn't need a kiss. They had honesty. And that was more intimate than anything physical. Lily woke up before the sun, the city outside still cloaked in morning haze. She moved through the penthouse quietly, making coffee the way Ethan liked it. Black, no sugar. By the time he stepped into the kitchen, freshly showered and dressed for another busy day, the mug was waiting on the counter. He paused. "You didn't have to." She shrugged, offering a soft smile. "I wanted to." Something unspoken passed between them. Not quite love. Not yet. But something gentler than before. They started spending more time together. Not out of obligation, but choice. They had dinner without distractions. Conversations that stretched beyond the weather or scheduled appearances. She told him about her childhood, about her father's bookstore, and how the scent of old pages reminded her of home. He listened. Genuinely listened. In return, Ethan opened up about his past. About how losing Anna had turned him into someone he didn't recognize. How he built walls so high that not even grief could climb over them. "You make it hard to keep those walls up," he admitted one night. "Then maybe it's time to let them fall," Lily said softly. They didn't touch often, but when they did, a hand brushing against the other, a lingering glance, it felt more electric than anything she'd experienced in a real relationship. One evening, they watched an old movie together. Ethan fell asleep halfway through, his head resting against the back of the couch. Lily didn't move. She just watched him breathe, calm and peaceful, and something swelled in her chest. She was falling. Slowly. Carefully. But undeniably. And it scared her. Because this was never part of the deal. Late that night, as she lay in bed, she stared at the ceiling and whispered to the darkness, "Please don't let me be the only one." She didn't know that Ethan, lying awake in the next room, was thinking the exact same thing. The slow burn had begun. And it was only getting warmer. It was a Sunday morning, the kind that lingered lazily between warm sunshine and the scent of fresh pancakes. Lily was in the kitchen humming a soft tune, flipping pancakes in a flowery apron Ethan had teased her about once. But today he didn't tease. He just watched. She looked up and caught him staring. "What?" she asked, brushing flour from her cheek. He shook his head, voice low. "Nothing. Just this. You. It feels real." It startled her. How easily those words slipped out. How effortlessly her heart responded. They ate breakfast on the balcony, the city below alive with weekend energy. For once, it felt like they were just a regular couple. No contracts. No secrets. No expectations. "Do you ever think about what it would be like," Lily asked, "if this were real?" Ethan didn't answer right away. He looked out at the skyline, fingers wrapped around his coffee cup. "All the time," he finally said. Her breath hitched. Later that day, they went grocery shopping together. Something so ordinary it felt oddly intimate. They argued over cereal brands, joked in the checkout line, and laughed when Ethan couldn't find where she'd parked the car. She caught herself smiling more than usual. On the drive home, Ethan reached over and took her hand. Just like that, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Lily looked at him, surprised. That wasn't in the agreement. He kept his eyes on the road, a small smile playing on his lips. "Maybe it's time we rewrote the rules." She didn't let go. That night, she sat on the edge of her bed, brushing her hair in slow, thoughtful strokes. Her heart felt full, confused, and a little afraid. Because glimpses of forever were dangerous. They made you believe. And she wasn't sure if Ethan was ready for that kind of truth. But still, she was. Even if it broke her later. She was ready. The next few days felt like living in a dream. A delicate, golden dream where everything was soft and sweet. But dreams are fragile, and Lily knew that. It started with a name. Just a name. Anna. She saw it written on a box tucked in the corner of Ethan's study. Curiosity tugged at her. She hesitated, then opened it. Inside were old letters, photographs, a dried bouquet pressed in a book. Memories of a woman Ethan had loved before the world changed for him. She hadn't meant to invade his privacy. But now she couldn't unsee what she'd seen. The way he'd smiled in those pictures. Different. Open. Vulnerable. That night, over dinner, Lily asked gently, "Do you still miss her?" Ethan froze. Fork mid-air. Then, slowly, he placed it down. "Yes," he said honestly. "But it's different now. It doesn't hurt like it used to. It's just a quiet echo." Lily nodded, unsure what she was supposed to feel. Jealousy? Insecurity? Grief for a love that wasn't hers? "You don't have to compete with a ghost," Ethan added, as if reading her thoughts. "You're not a replacement, Lily. You're something entirely different." She looked up, startled by the honesty in his voice. "I wasn't expecting to feel this way," he said. "But you've brought something back I thought I lost forever." She didn't ask what it was. Because deep down she knew. Hope. Later that night, when he kissed her, slow, deliberate, and full of unspoken feelings, it wasn't about a contract or convenience anymore. It was about healing. It was about her. And for the first time, the past didn't feel like a shadow. It felt like a bridge. To something new. To something real. The air was different now. Heavier with meaning, lighter with laughter. Lily and Ethan had slipped into something neither of them had words for. It wasn't just comfort anymore. It was connection. Deep. Rooted. Quietly blooming. But even the strongest feelings need to be said out loud. Lily stood in the hallway that morning, watching Ethan button his cufflinks before work. Her fingers clutched the edge of the doorway, heart pounding in her chest. I need to tell you something, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Ethan turned, sensing the weight of her words. What is it? She stepped into the room, eyes searching his. This thing between us. It wasn't supposed to happen. But it did. And I can't keep pretending it hasn't. His expression was unreadable. I love you, Ethan, she said, tears welling. I didn't mean to. I didn't plan to. But I do. The silence stretched for a second too long. And then he moved, quickly, without hesitation, until he was right in front of her. His hand cupped her cheek, thumb brushing away a tear. I thought I couldn't feel that again, he said, voice low and rough with emotion. I thought loving someone meant betraying the memory of someone else. Her eyes searched his, afraid of what came next. But you're not a replacement, he continued. You're my reminder that life goes on, that hearts don't forget how to beat, even after they've been broken. Lily let out a soft, shuddering breath. I love you too, he said, and not because I need to, but because I want to, because you make it feel easy again. She let herself fall into his arms, and for the first time, there was no fear in her surrender. Just trust, just truth. That night, they tore up the contract, burned it in the fireplace, watched the flames eat away the lines that once defined them. They were no longer a convenience. They were a choice. Together, they built a new routine, one filled with laughter, spontaneous dances in the kitchen, and quiet moments of peace. The kind of love that didn't need grand gestures to prove its depth. Months later, Ethan proposed again, this time without conditions. And Lily said yes, not because she had to, but because her heart already had. At their wedding, there were no headlines, no press. Just close friends, gentle music, and the kind of vows that only come from souls who've walked through fire and found each other on the other side. As they danced under the stars, Ethan whispered, "Thank you for giving me something I thought I'd lost forever." Lily smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "And thank you for choosing me." It wasn't the love story either of them expected, but it was the one they both needed. And it was real. What started as a simple arrangement turned into a journey of healing, hope, and the kind of love that sneaks up on you when you least expect it. Ethan offered her a marriage of convenience, but Lily gave him something he thought he'd lost forever. A reason to believe again. A reason to love again. A reason to live again. They didn't fall in love like the movies, fast and loud. They fell like leaves in autumn, soft, slow, and beautiful. And by the time they looked up, they were already home, in each other. If this story moved you, made you feel something deep, real, and unforgettable, then this is just the beginning. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Daily Stories, for more heart-touching tales just like this. Every day a new story. Every story a new reason to feel. Love, pain, hope, joy, we bring it all to life. Just for you. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a moment. And share this with someone who still believes in second chances. Because love always finds a way.